This video covers section 3.1, Exponents. An expression in form of b to the power of n, called exponential expression. b is the base, n is the exponent or power. N is the number of times b multiplies by itself. For example, 2 to the power of 3, 2 is the base, 3 is power or exponent. So 2 multiplies by itself 3 times. If we want to evaluate 2 to the power of 3, is going to be 2 times 2 times 2 means 8. Another example like negative 3 to the power of 4. Negative 3 is the base, so we multiply negative 3 4 times by itself. You know negative times negative is positive, times negative is negative, times negative positive, so we have positive 81. In example number 3, base is 5, negative 5 to the power of 3. So base is 5 because negative is outside, is not inside of parentheses. To evaluate this expression, we keep negative and we multiply 5 3 times by itself. And we find the answer, negative 125. To simplify exponential expressions, we need to know some rules. One of the rules is product rule for exponents. If we multiply two exponential expressions with the same base, then we keep the base and we add powers or exponents together. For example, 4 to the power of 2 times 4 to the power of 5, because bases are the same, we can keep the base to the power of, add those exponent or powers together. So answer is 4 to the power of 7. For example, x to the power of 4 times x to the power of 6, since base is the same, so we keep the base. 4 plus 6 is 10, so it's x to the power of 10. We can use the product rule to simplify some expressions. For example, 2x squared times negative 3x to the power of 5. To simplify this expression, first we multiply numbers or coefficients by each other. 2 times negative 3, negative 6. Now x to the power of 2 times x to the power of 5. Base is x and exponent 2 plus 5 gives us 7. So the final answer is negative 6 x to the power of 7. Quotient rule says if x and y are positive integers and a is a real number, non-zero real number, a to the power of x over a to the power of y, we can write it as a to the power of x minus y. For example, x to the power of 5 over x to the power of 2, because bases are the same, we can write it as x to the power of 5 minus 2 or x to the power of 3. Power rule for exponents says again, if x and y are positive integers and a real number, a to the power of x to the power of y is a to the power of multiplication of x and y. Look at the example. y to the power of 8 inside of parentheses to the power of 2. So the answer is y to the power of 8 times 2, 16. I would like to mention a note here. The same example, y to the power of 8 to the power of 2. If we get rid of parentheses, we have y to the power of 8 to the power of 2. In this form, answer is not anymore y to the power of 16 because we don't have parentheses here. We mentioned here y to the power of 8 because has parentheses. This is base, means y to the power of 8 times y to the power of 8. And you can write it as y to the power of 8 plus 8, 16. But in this form, y to the power of 8 is not anymore base. Here, 8 is the base for this power 2. So the answer is y to the power of 8 to the power of 2 means 8 times 8. So the answer is y to the power of 64. Power of a product rule says if you have multiplication between two terms inside of parentheses to the power of x or any exponent, that power belongs to both bases. So a times b to the power of x equals a to the power of x times b to the power of x. For example, 2a to the power of 3, that means 2 to the power of 3 times a to the power of 3. We know 2 to the power of 3 means 2 times 2 times 2 is 8a cubed. The same power of quotient rule. If we have a over b inside of parentheses to the power of x, this power belongs to a and b. We can rewrite it as a to the power of x over b to the power of x. Please note, anytime you have a fraction, denominator must be non-zero. So you can write it as 2a to the power of 4 to the power of 5 over b cubed to the power of 5. To simplify, denominator is b to the power of 3 times 5, 15. 2 to the power of 5 times a to the power of 4 times 5, 20. You can write the final answer as denominator b to the power of 15. 2 to the power of 5 means multiplication of 2. 5 times by itself is going to be 32. A to the power of 20. If we have a base to the power of 0 or a number to the power of 0, always answer is 1. For example, 3 to the power of 0 is 1. Here you see inside of parentheses we have expression 5x cubed y squared, but all to the power of 0. So answer is 1. If exponent is negative, we can make this exponent positive. A to the power of negative x, that means a to the power of negative x over 1. If you flip over your fraction, you're going to have 1 over a to the power of x. In this form, the negative exponent changes to positive. Exactly the same if you have in denominator an exponential expression with negative exponent, if you flip over your fraction, you're going to have a to the power of positive x over 1 or a to the power of x. For example, 3 to the power of negative 2. We need to make exponent positive to be able to calculate this expression. So 3 to the power of negative 2, actually denominator is 1. So if I flip over, this fraction is going to be 1 over 3 to the power of positive 2. I know 3 squared means 3 times 3, 9. So the answer is 1 over 9. Look at this example. 2 times x to the power of negative 3. So 2 is positive. So I will keep 2. Move x to the power of negative 3 to denominator to make exponent positive. So the answer is 2 over x cubed. Look at the third example. 2 to the power of negative 1 means 1 over 2 to the power of positive 1. The same, here you have addition. 4 to the power of negative 1, you can write it as 1 over 4 to the power of 1. So you have 1 over 2 plus 1 over 4. Because you need to simplify, so we have two fractions, 1 over 2 plus 1 over 4. We need to add these two fractions. The least common denominator is 4, so we multiply top and bottom of the first fraction by 2. So it's going to be 1 times 2, 2 plus 1. The final answer is 3 over 4. Next example. 1 over x to the power of negative 3. So if you flip over your fraction, it's going to be x to the power of positive 3 over 1. 1 over 3 to the power of negative 4 is going to be 3 to the power of positive 4 over 1. We know 3 to the power of 4 means 4 times multiplication of 3 by itself is going to be 81 over 1 or 81.